Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. As the left says, you should never question anything. If a woman accuses a man of inappropriate conduct, you should believe all women and never question anything. If Democrat activists say that Black Lives Matter and that they're fighting against an oppressive apartheid police state, a white supremacist, systemically racist American system, then you should just blindly believe and blindly support them. Of course, after all, we know the standard. If you criticize Black Lives Matter, then you must think that Black lives don't matter. That, of course, is the narrative. That's the standard. But boy, oh boy, there is just so much to criticize. The founders of BLM, Patrice Cancoolers, and the rest of them, enriching themselves, their families, and of course their legal consultants to the tune of millions of dollars is egregious on its own. It's monetary damage that's been done to susceptible individuals who donated to the organization, but the true damage that's been done here is the societal damage. The narratives that have been created and crafted around this activist group, the false premises that have frankly poisoned the cultural conversation, that right there I think is the most destructive element, and it's something that keeps popping up in arrest videos. I think one of the most difficult jobs right now, if not the most difficult job, is being a police officer in America. And let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that in this absolutely viral police dash cam and body cam footage. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so narrative. I very rarely cover arrest videos, but this one in particular is just a must watch.
Since you're under the age of 21,
okay,
you admitted to drinking to me. Okay, you have to blow absolute zeros to be able to drive, right?
So I don't think, basically I said everyone in this car has drank. I did not say to you that I have drank.
You literally just said that you drank.
I said everyone in this car, because they wanted me to admit to you that they had drank, because they thought that you were going to breathalyze all of us.
You just told me right over here that you drank at a party.
Can I just go pee? Really? You can come with me. You can literally come with me. I don't care, but I really have to go to the bathroom.
Okay, I mean, if you absolutely can't hold it, we can make that work, I guess.
She can come with me, but I'm literally peeing my pants right now.
Okay, all right, she can go with you. Just blow in this nice steady breath until it clicks, okay?
Did it click?
You're at a 0.103. Okay.
0.103, what does that mean? Under 0.8?
That means you're over the legal limit.
Okay.
Okay, so you do have to be placed under arrest.
Possible you can come pee with me again?
What's that?
I don't need a female officer to watch me. I don't want to pee my pants again. Will you come with me outside? You can follow me.
We're literally going to the police department. It's like a mile away.
I'm peeing on your seat.
Right now?
Yes.
Stop! No! Get out of the car! Get out of the car!
Stop!
Hey, 6, we got one taking off on us. She's trying to drive away.
Am I hot? I'm really just trying to cooperate. Like, I hope you know that. I know you already looked up my file. I went to U-High. I'm a good kid. I'm not trying to play around. Because you tried, literally pulling me out of the car, and I know all about police brutality. I'm scared for my life that you're going to shoot me. That's what I'm scared about.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
Okay.
Not to be rude, but you're a white male. So anytime I see a white officer, I get hella scared for my life.
Okay.
That's the only thing that I'm ever worried about. Literally, I'm scared of white police officers.
Okay, that's fine.
I feel more comfortable around this 2 black officers than I do around a white officer. I feel more comfortable around this 2 black officers than I do around a white officer.
Okay.
For sure.
Well, if you
if you gave me a concussion, you got me f***ed up, for sure.
Okay.
Because I will, ooh, that's going to be interesting.
So when the ambulance gets here, when you walk over there, do not try to run because you will get tackled.
I'm not going to try to run. I'm going to tell them exactly
I will tackle you if you run.
Okay, because you're white.
Now, the absolute sense of entitlement. But I see this everywhere. I mean, it's near constant. I'm sure I'm like a lot of you guys. You probably have an addiction, as do I. Watching police body camera videos on footage, I mean, it's really hard to take your eyes off of. And once it enters your recommended feed, once it gets into your YouTube algorithm, I mean, there's just no escaping it. There's some of the most massively viral videos on the platform. But this kind of situation is becoming so commonplace. And this is one of my main issues with Black Lives Matter. Every single time you see someone getting arrested, you see a white police officer arresting a minority individual, individual, it's the exact same thing over and over again. Accusations of racism, the individual getting on the floor and using the exact same words, quote, "I can't breathe." In many cases, individuals invoking George Floyd's name. Actually, funnily enough, Patrice Cancouler's cousin, we covered that arrest video from not too long ago, involved in a hit and run, clearly on cocaine or something, or possibly methamphetamine, either crack or meth. It was something along those lines, totally intoxicated, running around in the middle of an intersection, gets grabbed by police officers after committing multiple crimes, refused to comply, fought with the police officers, they tased him multiple times. He did actually end up passing away shortly thereafter, or multiple days after. I think he suffered cardiac arrest, if I'm not mistaken. But during the time, I think the quote was, "They're trying to George Floyd me." It's either "I can't breathe," "You're racist," "I'm scared of you because you're white," "I'm scared for my life because I think that you're gonna shoot me indiscriminately." Why? Because you're white. You know, this phony racial narrative that's been crafted by these leftoid activists, by the media, used, honestly, in an attempt as a get-out-of-jail-free card, if you think about it. And the absolute sheer level of entitlement to be committing crimes, to be clearly guilty, being found committing crimes on body cam and dash cam footage, resisting arrest, and then justifying all of your actions by, "I was scared because of the color of your skin." You know, either actually believing that or using these narratives as a false premise to defend yourself or try to remove yourself from a sticky situation. This is the cultural side effect of rhetoric that we've seen on MSNBC, the mainstream media, the mainstream leftist media, and activist groups like Black Lives Matter. You know, the idea that these groups are saving lives or making people's lives better is honestly laughable. And that's where I come in saying in the intro that there is a whole lot to criticize. Criticizing BLM doesn't mean that you believe that black lives don't matter. It's criticizing the sense of entitlement and lack of responsibility, or not holding criminals accountable for their actions. That criminals are always victims of a systemic white supremacist police state that's out of control. From the leftist activist perspective, the criminal is always the victim. And people feed into these narratives, or in many cases they try to abuse these narratives. And that's why we're seeing a massive increase in moments like these. And the demonization of police officers, and especially white police officers, is leading to actual increases of violence and increases in loss of life. You know, the narrative itself is built on a total fallacy. There's multiple academic peer-reviewed studies, research articles that have been conducted that disprove the leftist narrative. For instance, this one from the University of California, Berkeley, officer characteristics and racial disparities in fatal officer-involved shootings. Significance. There is widespread concern about racial disparities in fatal officer-involved shootings, and that these disparities reflect discrimination by white officers. Existing databases of fatal shootings lack information about officers, and post-analytic approaches have made it difficult to assess the contributions of factors like crime. We create a comprehensive database of officers involved in fatal shootings during 2015 and predict victim race from civilian, officer, and county characteristics. We find no evidence of anti-black or anti-Hispanic disparities across shootings, and white officers are not more likely to shoot minority civilians than non-white officers. Instead, race-specific crime strongly predicts civilian race. This suggests that increasing diversity among officers by itself is unlikely to reduce racial disparity in police shootings. The whole pseudo-intellectual leftist activist narrative is built on a false premise. Yet it's leading to all kinds of cultural issues. It's leading to more division. It's leading to more police officers losing their lives while on duty. And it's leading to policy that is having a negative impact on communities. People don't want to become police officers anymore because you're basically public enemy number one, at least in certain communities. Yet we see more and more Democrat activists having an impact on policy and Democrat governance. For instance, right over here, we're seeing that Los Angeles Mayor Bass calls to root out right-wing extremist police, signals lowering the bar for new recruits. We've already seen the results of these exact types of policies, for instance in Memphis with the whole Tyree Nichols situation. That's what happens when you lower your recruitment standards. That's what happens when you focus on diversity rather than competence and training standards. You know, Democrats want a scapegoat. Problem's the white man is what they tell you. The problem is systemic racism and America being a deeply terrible fascist white apartheid state. I mean, you literally hear rhetoric like that on MSNBC from individuals like Eli Mistal, I'm not exactly sure how you say his name, but you literally hear rhetoric like that, and then you see the studies themselves from the University of California of all places, and you see that the rhetoric, the Democrat narrative, doesn't match up with reality. But so many people have fallen under the spell. They've bought into the narrative, and it's creating more division. It's making it harder for police officers to do their job. It's lowering the amount of applicants that want to get involved in police policing, and do you blame them? You pull someone over, you're doing your job, you're stopping a criminal from driving a car highly intoxicated, and somehow you're the bad guy. Somehow you're the racist white cop, supposedly threatening someone's life by your mere presence and the color of your skin. Somehow the answer is defunding the police and emboldening criminals to continue to victimize their own communities without a strong law enforcement pushback. Leftist activism is not only disingenuous, it's not only dishonest, it's dangerous with real life consequences. Culturally, societally, and like the left always says, they love to say that Republican policies and Republican rhetoric and Donald Trump himself, words that he says, it's all leading to increased violence and people are losing their lives. They always say that, whether it's the abortion issue, supporting law enforcement, the border, ICE, you name it. But ironically enough, leftist policies and leftist activism is actually leading to violence and the loss of life. And I don't think that's politically biased, inflammatory rhetoric. That's not hyperbolic rhetoric. I think that's quite factual. I think we've seen it and we've proved it with the statistics. And so I guess TLDR, criticizing Black Lives Matter doesn't make you racist. It doesn't mean that you don't think Black Lives Matter. I think quite the contrary. I think there's a whole lot to criticize, and justifiably so. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, friends, and I'll see you on the next one.